on this table in the exhibition, the Top 100 2020, there was this little booklet, Top 100 2020. It was it functioned as a sort of catalogue for the exhibition. In prior years, I always printed out the little blocks of text that I have written for each of the works. The page that I have in front of me are the first four. I put those up next to the works. And in recent years, I've stopped doing that and instead have a guide for visitors that they can walk around and read about the works that are up on the wall. So these little booklets I've always made, well, not every single year, but many years I've created a sort of catalogue for the exhibit. And here I've gathered, just for the video, a couple of older ones to show you. So this booklet was printed in an edition of 10. I had a stack here on this table, and they disappeared rather quickly during the opening, and I didn't say anything. It wasn't meant for people to take those with them. But you know, obviously I can't come back, so I got one. I got also a proof too, so I actually have two of these. They were actually rather expensive, and there's a few color pages, and there's a spread in the center. It's called in the back of it. It's color. Top 100 catalogues have, over the years, become a tradition within the larger tradition of the Top 100 itself. I didn't create a catalogue every single year, though, and some only exist in digital format, but still, there are in existence more than 20 catalogues in print format, going back to the Top 100 of 1984, the second Top 100 of its history, starting in 1983. In the early years, the catalogues consisted of Xerox copies of record sleeves. The 100 songs of the list originated from, and they gradually evolved into reproductions of paintings and lots of text. Since the first public exhibition of a Top 100 at Skylab in 2000, I've written little snippets on every entry in the list of 100 songs. The little snippets became full-page musings when I started the blog, simply called The Top 100, back in 2010. The current catalogue that I have in front of me here takes one paragraph from each blog entry as a description of the artwork. The book is mostly in black and white to keep the cost down. The digital files that they were printed from, I have on my computer and are in full color. This image then shows the second to last page in the zine. So this book was meant for visitors to take with them when they walk around the exhibit, and so it would have these text functions as a wall label for each of the works, and the order 1 through 100 is the same in the booklet as it is on the wall. So what you see here are numbers 17 to 20, which then conform to the row that starts at the top left of the image here and goes down for numbers 17 through 20. This is the southernmost wall of the exhibition, the end wall, and it has numbers 17 through 40 on them. And I picked this one to share just because it has the first image that set the tone, that set the concept for the series that later became nicknamed the COVID series. Let me read to you from the book, and you can follow it here. The text that I wrote, that I copied from, that is an outtake from my blog, The Top 100, and that got published in the catalog. Depicted as the Bannar, and the song is Kalabas Zitter Tingning. After finishing all 100 paintings for the Top 100 2019, I'm slowly starting to think about this year's. This was in 2020, April 2020. That's when I started the series. For no other reason than I just feel like it. I started faithfully copying an image from the booklet tucked in the LP, Introduction to the Music of Vietnam. Notice that Vietnam is 2 words. This is an LP from the 1950s. That LP had been a mainstay on my player in recent weeks. And again, this was written in April. This is the original post then, where that snippet came from, where I copied that snippet from. It's a title, a blog entry. Actually, it's March 23. I thought it was April. Anyway, that I titled At Home. And this is what that looked like. It has 3 images. I'll read that to you too. So it's a bit redundant, but it's perhaps interesting. Home, weathering out the coronavirus outbreak, teaching remote, twiddling around. I should have had the archive building finished, but a combination of know-how or lack thereof and laziness kept me from achieving this coveted milestone. I'm getting closer, however, slow the progress is. After finishing all 100 paintings for the Top 100 2019, I'm slowly starting to think about this year's. For no other reason than I just felt like it, I started faithfully copying an image from the booklet tucked in the LP, Introduction to the Music of Vietnam. That has been a mainstay on my record player in recent weeks. Earlier, in the context of my twice annual stencil print project with art appreciation students, I had already created a print depicting Jane Wheatland, known for her part in the Go-Go's. After watching a fantastic concert of go-go classics at the Bob Rosenberg Gallery earlier this year, I chose Jane Wheatland as subject for trading prints with students. Jane is being sent one too, and so is Beatriz Monteavaro, who sat in on drums. I met them both and got a high five from Jane Wheatland. So now there's 2 disparate works that could end up being the start of the Top 100 2020. I have not decided on a theme, style, format, or topic, if any. So soon after that, I did decide on a topic. And this is then the introduction page of the booklet of the zine Top 100 2020. And I'm going to read that to you too. Just the first page, the introduction page, the artist statement, as it were. Top 100 2020, the COVID-19 series. I started work on the Top 100 2020 series during the quarantine imposed amid the COVID-19 scare in the late spring of 2020. Suddenly, everything closed around me, and my art classes, in the middle of the semester, had moved off-site as well. I was stuck at home, and I thought it to be appropriate to do the new series, the new Top 100, from my living room, reflecting on life during a pandemic. The living room, as opposed to my studio, is a place for projects, as opposed to serious art. I could not bring oil paints and turpentine into the house, so the materials used in the series are my hobby supplies: a sketchbook, pens, pencils, ink, markers, and anything else I would find laying around. It felt appropriate, given the circumstances, to make these drawings. The works reflect a solemn activity, an activity that may take time, that is often tedious and sometimes rather mindless. Apart from the drawings, the days spent at home were consumed by a cascade of news surrounding the coronavirus. I've always been a list and numbers person, and that's exactly what I got lost in. Percentages, numbers, comparisons by country and regions, and other statistical trivia. I thought it appropriate to add the COVID-19 stats beside the captions I penciled in. And here you can see the first one where I actually did that, the first drawing. Despite all this doom and gloom, this year's Top 100 may well be the happiest of all 36 editions thus far. Perhaps it's a reflection of being at home with my loved ones, the disappearance of the stress that comes with the usual daily grind, the release from professional pressure, or perhaps just coincidence. Many tunes in this year's list end with laughter, not because the music is particularly funny, but that it evokes exaltation. The 100 drawings for the series were completed between April 2020 and August 2021. All works are on paper and are 11 by 14 inches. The Top 100 2020 was compiled from 74 top 10 lists charting my favorite music I'd listened to. The lists date from September 2019 through September 2020. There are a few more catalogs on the table here. I'm going to just show you briefly a little bit of that. This is a catalog for Top 100 2019, which was held at the Fort Myers Beach Public Library, and we'll talk about this particular one in a bit. It had some originals. All paintings except for 4 were on canvas and were 11 by 14, and there were just a few works on paper that I just stuck into the booklet for the audience to view along with the exhibition of 96 paintings. So a little bit more about this later. This one is from the Top 100 2009, and this is actually the only one, close, the only one that's been officially published, by a national publisher. This was done by iconoclasteditions.com, and they're associated with Country Club Gallery, and they are both in Cincinnati and LA, and had an exhibition in Cincinnati in 2010. So this is the catalog. Let's show you just, I don't know which page I'm opening. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Then this one, Top 100 1991. This has been the format, and it again is the format. This is like half, 5.5 by 8.5, half of a regular size paper of 8.5 by 11. And that used to be the format in the 90s as well for these little booklets, and as well as the Top 100 drawings in the 90s and watercolors. They were done on this format. This is half of an A4, which is similar to half of a sheet of normal US paper, but I was at this time still in the Netherlands, and so there's these. This is the first one actually, Top 100 1991, that featured drawings. I used to mostly drawings. Some are there's some photocopies as well. So, hey, this one's upside down. What do you know? Should have maybe noticed that. So that was the first one, really. the in which artworks were reproduced. What's that? Yep. So this was an important year. This is when I started making paintings in catalogs. The only color images in the zine, the catalog, the top 100 2020, are the center fold, back and front. I just reproduced some of my favorite drawings from the series and copied those in color. I will now go ahead and show a few examples of catalogs from past exhibitions. The previous catalog, the Top 100 2019, displayed at the Fort Myers Beach Library, I presented inside a binder. No additional copies were made. The images displayed inside the binder were Xerox in black and white, but the source file, again, was laid out in full color. And here are some of these pages. Besides the binder displayed at the exhibition, the Top 100 2019 also exists in full color digital format, published on the blog The Top 100. An added feature of a digital catalog is that videos can be embedded into it. Here's an example of one of the 10 pages that functioned as a catalog for 2019. Kijiwak, Wayak Ensemble, Pekarine, Ai, Amamai. That is, I'll follow this link. The video in question is this one. It's a song seen on video recorded by Opos, a music program at the University of Basel, Switzerland. We see and hear 7 singers who form the group Kijiwak. Probably don't pronounce that right. They perform a pikarine, a style of throat singing specific to the Siberian Chukchi. The song comes with a set of hand gestures. The movement of the hands, with an occasional clap in there, belong to the song. Traditions have withstood the ages, even when musical traditions have been repressed by political events. The Chukchi women seen in the video wear ordinary modern clothing. That traditional music isn't just performed by those peoples who haven't been in contact with civilizations, and that ancient musical traditions are performed in buckskin or reindeer pelts belong to the world of myth. So this video, I'll show a little bit of that too. And the painting represents an example of the abel, a traditional instrument of the Sotu and Taoi Paco peoples of the Hue province in Vietnam. A rare video of the nearly extinct tradition was uploaded to YouTube in 2013 by Anh Clam Ets, using footage from the Vietnamese Institute of Musicology in Hanoi, Vietnam. The tune shows a man playing a one-string instrument, a don knie, with a bow and uses his mouth as a resonance chamber. The anonymous performer in the painting is the musician in the video. And that's that. So again, let me show you the image, which is this one right here. Yeah. Number 52 of the top 100 2019, sorry. The top 100 2018, this was, and the formats of all these were different, and the little online, well, digital catalog that I presented on the blog, the top 100, had like they're not like the full paintings, but I just selected one square that would show the face of the former in question. And this is the year before, top 100 2017. And this was the first one, the top 100 2014, that I published purely in a digital format on my blog, the top 100. And here the sizes are truthful in proportion with one another. On average, there most are 12 by 12 or 12 by 24 inches, the sizes of that particular top 100.